ESPN announced Wednesday that they were firing the World Series champion Curt Schilling from his role as baseball analyst in light of some anti-transgender memes that he posted to his public Facebook profile. Now, they have since been taken down, but some of the memes included things like this. Reading, "Let him into the restroom with your daughter or else you're a narrow-minded, judgmental, unloving, racist bigot who needs to die." Also, this quote here, supposedly from James Woods, "The world is fighting Islamic terrorism, starvation, and disease, but Democrats are fighting for men to pee in the ladies' room. Insanity."
By the way, James Woods is a huge Republican. So
yeah, very conservative.
Yeah, that wouldn't be surprising if he said that.
Right. He also posted comments like this: "A man is a man no matter what they call themselves. I don't care what they are, who they sleep with. Men's room," a little grammar issue there, "was designed for the penis, women's not so much. Now you need laws telling us differently. Pathetic." So he was fired, right? And in light of that, he wrote a lengthy blog post calling his detractors people just dying to be offended. Also saying that you frauds out there ranting and screaming about my opinions, in quotes, even if it isn't, and comments are screaming for tolerance and acceptance while you refuse to do and be either. So yeah, I think he should have been fired for some of these memes. I'm going to agree with ESPN on this issue, but this wasn't his first time in hot water. He also had some other inflammatory statements. He recently shared a meme comparing Muslims to Nazis just in August, and he was suspended from his hosting duties for the duration of the baseball season. But then they put him back on air in February, and he received no reprimand for suggesting that Democratic presidential nominee Hillary Clinton should be buried under a jail somewhere. He sounds like a good guy, you know?
So classic right-winger where he thinks, I get to say whatever you want about me. Or about you, I should say. But you don't get to say it about me. Now, wait, how can I assume that? Maybe he really wouldn't get offended by anything, and that he's just a tough guy. They love to pretend to be tough guys when they're insulting other people. But if you turn the tables on him, and you had, let's say, a militant black group saying Curt Schilling is, you know, whatever. All the racial slurs against whites are amusing. Honky. Does anybody really get offended by honky? Okay. Anyway, or let's say a hick or a redneck or whatever.
Yeah,
right?
whatever they can come up with.
Yeah, that, and that's why, you know, he shouldn't play, or there should be more African American pitchers, and they should be, you know, and there should be less white people or whatever. He'd be the first guy to get outraged by it, right? Like, oh my God, look at this, look at what they want to do, blah, 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 blah. These are the guys who get outraged by the war on Christmas. It's a war that doesn't even exist, right?
Yeah.
Oh, Starbucks didn't write Merry Christmas on their cups. They've got no obligation to write about your holiday, right?
Yeah.
So now he's like, well, what's the big deal? Why are you getting so offended that I insulted these people? Because you insulted them.
Yeah.
Right? And so why are you surprised that that's offensive? Like, okay, what you do with that offense is a different question. Okay? And so you've got your First Amendment right. Somebody's going to put you in jail for offending anyone, right? But if you say, hey, this group of people, I don't like them. They're whatever. They're, you know, his words, they're wrong gender. He doesn't even accept who they are, right? And you don't belong in certain places, right? And then ESPN, who is your employer, says, well, I want to appeal to everybody, and I don't want to cut off a certain part of the population and offend them by just for who they are. Not their political opinions, not their principles, not anything like that, but who they are, right?
Right.
And you somehow are then outraged by that. Well, it sounds like you're a little touchy about that. Why don't you suck it up? That's ESPN's First Amendment rights to do as they please. What are you getting all offended for? Come on, Curt. Man up.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing: is this is getting media attention because obviously with the HB2 law in North Carolina, the bathroom issue and things like that. But he isn't only just talking about being accepting of trans people in bathrooms. He is really getting in here and criticizing and not even believing and just defending in a very, offending in a very despicable way, like the very core of the trans movement. He's saying that that doesn't even exist by using pictures like this, and it's disgusting. But fortunately for him, he has somebody very reputable supporting him. Sarah Palin wrote on her Facebook page, you know, when you have Sarah Palin behind you, you're doing something right. But saying that ESPN continues to screw up, and she threw up her own meme to help the cause, as you guys can see here. It's just uneducated and it's ignorant. Like, and look, everybody's allowed to have their own opinions, but at the same time, like, if you're a public figure and you have this platform where people are going to listen to you, at least make sure that what you're saying is informed. And I would also argue, like, make sure it's like aligned with what you're doing, right? So he is an ESPN, he's a baseball analyst. Like, there's no reason to just throw these inflammatory comments that are based in just pure ignorance and bigotry on your Facebook. Like, it's not necessary.
So, look, his Hillary Clinton comments are hyperbole, and I don't care what his political opinion is in regards to, you name the issue, the environment,
right,
taxes, right? Have at it, Oz. And I don't even care if he says that on ESPN. It's not like, as a progressive, I am offended by his tax policies, and I will not stand for it, right? But it's a different thing when you say, I don't like these people for who they are, right? Whether it's trans, it's Muslims, whoever it is, you were born that way, I don't care, right? I don't even accept that you were born that way. I think you're a liar. And by the way, I think you're coming for our children. That's the implication of the cartoon that Sarah Palin sent. Ted Cruz today on Glenn Beck's program kept talking about, oh, they want him to go into the little girl's room, right? Like, and you know what that is? That's beyond offensive. That's hateful.
Yeah.
You're trying to get people riled up to hate this group of people who went through extraordinary, courage, risks, etc., to do something that is very unusual because they feel like they are absolutely driven by their actual identity to do that. To go through gender reassignment surgery, to go through the hormones, to go through all the things that they go through.
Even just to vocalize that that's how they feel and that's how they identify in a lot of states is extremely, extremely difficult.
And then after they go through all that, then you think it was just so they could see little girls. If you say that, I mean, you really are a hateful prick. So if ESPN doesn't want to have hateful pricks as their commentators, that is very understandable. So good riddance, Curt Schilling.